Hello everyone, welcome back. I am Husky here with Mr. Bitters, and we are just moments away. And who are we going to be watching here in just a second? I'm super jazzed.
TLO versus DongRaeGu. This is one of the this is one of the matches I'm most excited for. Players are ready, so I'm going to give them the go, and we're going to get this countdown going, Husky.
All right, so here we go. We are going to go ahead and start. The 10-second timer has begun. Now, really quickly, the map is going to be Testbug, which those of you who are not familiar with Testbug, it's not easy on the eyes, but it is a very cool map. It is going to be a 3-player map. And what are your thoughts about this map?
I love Testbug. I'm a Zerg player, so I have obviously a little bit of bias in that regard. But it's a good map because it's not really that easy for the other races to take a third base. And it's really easy for Zerg to do that. So I really expect to see some mass expansion out of DongRaeGu. And, TLO has to figure out how he's going to punish that. I'm really, really excited to see TLO's play because he has been away from it for so long because of that injury. So I'm interested to see if he's in shape because DongRaeGu's ZVT could very possibly be the best in the world.
Yeah, definitely. If you guys haven't been watching the Zerg player, he is extremely powerful, and he is going to be spawning down here in the bottom center. And remember, this is going to be a 3-player map. So on the center right side is going to be LiquidTLO as well. And we were mentioning the little one's injuries. Basically, his wrists were just giving him a ton of pain, and he played so much StarCraft that it basically got to a point where he had to take a break. But I have been following him and talking to him. He said he's been practicing a lot recently, and so we'll see if he's going to be prepared for this game. He has a very tough opponent right out of the gate. It's going to test the best of his ability here, I would say, as, again, we've mentioned before that this Zerg player, a lot of people have been watching him.
All right, I was getting a little confused there as DongRaeGu did the extractor trick, so I wasn't sure what was going on. But he's just playing normal, so it's impossible to say what he's up to just yet. And Husky, I just want to say about TLO, if you've ever sat over his shoulder and watched him play, he is one of the fastest players I've ever watched. So I can see why he would get hurt because he is going at a mile a minute every time he plays. Also, we're noticing TLO hasn't taken a gas yet. He's got an interesting racks placement, so I'm starting to think he might be thinking 2 racks.
And we kind of know TLO's playstyle a little bit. He's a very inventive player, sometimes can be extremely aggressive with those units. So on this map, you kind of mentioned it a little bit, but a third base for a Zerg player, a little bit easier to secure than some of the other maps that we've seen. So what's that going to mean for the little one? Like, is he going to be able to sit back on 2 base, or does he have to cause some damage?
Well, he's going to sit back on 2 base, and he has to cause some damage. It's just the nature of the matchup right now. Zerg is going to get ahead in drones unless they do some sort of strange all-in. But it falls on Terran to do something to keep things close. It's very, very difficult to just straight up never attack and macro face-to-face with a Zerg player. And I completely misspoke. As soon as I said no gas for TLO, he throws 1 down. So we've got 1 gas, 1 racks. This could be any number of things, with the most common being some sort of Hellion opening.
And we do have the expansion going down for our Zerg player right now. And one thing I want to mention really quickly, a lot of people, if you're just pretty new to StarCraft, if you're wondering why there's a building here, this is to prevent any sort of wall-in at the ramp right here by these buildings and things like that, which is something that a lot of Zerg players have gone against as far as getting rushed there. It looks like someone is messaging me there, so I'll have to take care of him.
Yeah, so we've got Hatch first out of our Zerg player, and he's got his gas going down as well. I feel like he feels like he might be seeing some Hellions out of TLO, and that's why he's getting that early gas. I would also expect him to maybe respond to that with some roaches. The other way to deal with early Hellion play is with a lot of spine crawlers. So he has both those options. Testbug has a very narrow natural expansion. What is this? TLO with 2 SCVs. What is he up to?
Yeah, he's sent 2 SCVs as well as a couple of Marines. Does not have a bunker going on the way. The drones have been pulled off the line. There's 8 Zerglings in production, but they are not completed quite yet. You can see them just spawning right here. And this is going to force the Zerg player to have to use some of that larva on Zerglings rather than drones. We were mentioning that Zerg players always get ahead. Maybe you agree here, Mr. Bitters, but it seems like he was just trying to delay the amount of drones his opponent has.
Wow, TLO is so smart. DongRaeGu didn't know exactly what he was up to. So TLO pushes out with a few Marines and extra SCVs because he's like, oh my god, 2 racks. I've got to make a ton of Zerglings. And if you look on the units tab, this actually allowed TLO to pull ahead in workers because the Zerg players started making lings instead of drones. So very, very smart, clever move out of TLO. He's forced these lings, and now he's making Hellions. This is going to be really, really tough, assuming that these initial lings don't do big damage.
The little one's just going to have to micro here a tiny bit to take care of it. Nice splitting of the Zerglings. Going to be able to do as much damage as possible, but I mean, this Hellion's already up to 4 kills. Zerglings are so slow. They have hacked down the Marines, but the little one's just going to have to focus on keeping his Hellion alive. This unit should be able to take out as many Zerglings as possible. You can see that he's trying to split the Zerglings to do as much harassment as possible. It does look like the little one will hold here. Is this going to put the Zerg player in a pretty bad spot after not doing any damage?
Well, he made those early lings, and he went to try to do something with them. So anytime you invest in units, it's important that they become active, that they give you something back. So, DongRaeGu is his name. Wow, that was hard to get that out. DongRaeGu didn't do big damage, but if you look on the worker count, he allowed himself to pull a little bit ahead. He's got about a 5-drone lead right now, and he didn't win the game right there. But he's being active, which is how you have to play. Look at TLO's Hellions kind of wigging out here on the Zelnaga tower.
Yeah, they're trying to check it out, and they do have to kill those rocks before he can use that tower. I just noticed in DongRaeGu's base, he does have 4 drones on that gas, which is not going to be good considering there's going to be a lot of harassment here from the little one, it looks like. I don't know if he's going to be able to get past this defense, though. Look, we have a queen on the ramp kind of guarding that right now, as well as another queen right here. And I'm looking at the production tab, and what do I see? 3 factories completed here. And I was talking to TLO a couple of days before this event. He did say he has a lot of very interesting plans for, or at least build orders plans for his opponent here. So this may be exactly what we're seeing here as he's continuing that Hellion production right now.
Yeah, this is like some sort of crazy mass Hellion play. Like normally you see reactored Hellion, but TLO has gone 3 no add-on factories. And if you look into the base of, here come the Hellions, going to roast some drones on the line. Lings are going to come down. They do have speed. Speed Hellions on creep. Speed Lings on creep are going to make short work of Hellions. TLO just going to turn around. He's continuing the Hellion production. And in the base of DongRaeGu, he doesn't have anything that does really well against Hellion. He's got no Roach Warren. So he's being forced to defend with something that is not like the ideal unit to defend with.
Yeah, this is standard TLO for you, but is he going to be able to do enough damage here? You got to remember, he has invested in 3 factories rather than using those add-ons that you tend to swap out. I think he's hoping to do a lot more economic damage here. He's trying to focus down these Zerglings as much as possible. We're going to show health bars for just a second. You can see the drones doing fairly well in the HP, but the little one is continuing to do that harassment right now, and the Zerglings now are starting to get in the red and yellow. I would say, though, that DongRaeGu has been able to hold this off fairly well. His Spine Crawler doing so much damage. You can see 3 kills on that Spine Crawler as the little one attempts to take out this queen, and the Zergling counterattack here could cause a lot of damage if the little one's out of position.
Yeah, this Zergling counter is going to actually be really scary. Little one doesn't have any units back at home. Oh my gosh, this is going to do huge damage into the mineral line. Go the Lings. A bunch of SCVs are going to fall. There's no Marines. There's no bunker. There's nothing like that. Hellions are going to have to come all the way home. Meanwhile, TLO is just going to be forced to defend with SCVs. That's never a fight that you want to see, SCVs versus Zerglings. Nice little micro, clicking on those mineral patches to get us around there. TLO is going to get through that with minimal losses. I think he had 39 SCVs before that. Looks like he lost about 6 workers there, as I can just hear the crowd chanting outside in my headset. Meanwhile, TLO has thrown down a bunch of tech labs, and he's going mass Thor, and this is going to be excellent against the Muta transition that we have coming out of DongRaeGu.
Once again, standard, the little one for you. 2 Thors are on the way. The Hellions are on the ground. Thors are going to be utilized to take out those Mutas. You can see 8 Mutas, though. The timing of this may be a little bit delayed, as that harassment could have potentially slowed this down. Is the Thor going to be here in time as these Mutas are quickly swooping over here? And this is a very tense moment. The little one taking a little bit of economic damage is going to be slowing him down, and this is such a tense moment. So many Mutas now in the center of the field. There's not going to be any Marines. I don't think there's a single Marine on the field. There is not, just 8 Hellions